Hello and welcome back to the TRIAX Performance channel. My name is Damon Bednarski and I form part of the TRIAX Performance team alongside Rob and Sean. You can contact me on Twitter at Damon Bednarski or via the TRIAX social media channels at TRIAX Performance. As always, if you find our content informative or enjoyable and haven't already, please give us a like or subscribe to our channel. We appreciate all and any support we receive and it helps us continue to keep making content. Today I'm going to mix things up a little bit and divert away from our usual discussion of different training methods or sports science topics in the DIY series. With the 2021 university year almost upon us, we thought it was as good a time as ever to reflect on our own experiences as students and practitioners and pass on our top 5 tips for aspiring sports scientists beginning their journey this year. So let's get this show on the road. Exercise and sports science is fast becoming one of the most popular university degrees in Australia, with courses available at over 50 universities nationwide. This is great for the pockets of higher education institutions, but the key piece of information left out of their sales pitch is that you will be competing from day one of your degree with thousands of other students for the small pool of available jobs. Therefore, to help you get ahead of the pack and give yourself the best opportunity of securing one of these elusive sports science roles, we have put together our top 5 tips for sports science students. Fingers crossed, this advice might even help you be one of the lucky ones and snag a job in professional sport. Alright, tip number 1. Know what you're getting yourself into and do your research. So, what is sports science? The truth is, it's a tough question, and if you asked 3 sports scientists, so each of us at TRIAX, you'd probably get 3 different answers. However, the definition of sports science from the governing body for sports scientists in Australia, ESSA, is sports science is a multidiscipline field concerned with the understanding and enhancement of human performance, which includes the knowledge, methods, and applications of subdisciplines of human movement studies. For example, biomechanics, exercise physiology, motor control and development, sports coaching, strength and conditioning, sports nutrition, and sports psychology, as well as how they interact. So that is an absolute mouthful. So as the title of tip number 1 suggests, you need to do your research. Go out and find what biomechanics, exercise physiology, motor control and development, sports coaching, strength and conditioning, sports nutrition, and sports psychology actually mean and what career options they present. What you'll find in completing an undergraduate degree is that you will essentially be a jack of all trades but not master of none. You'll be introduced to each of these subdisciplines and develop basic skills and knowledge of each, but will likely lack the specificity to be a workforce-ready graduate. A small number of students will leave uni with a full-time job. The majority of graduates will be required to complete further study, such as an honours year, masters, or a PhD, similar to the 3 of us at TRIAX, as well as 3 to 5 years of practical experience along the way to gain meaningful employment. So this includes internships, unpaid placements, you name it. You're looking at 300 plus hours that you will need to dedicate to that. So how do you know this is the right choice? Well, without getting your hands dirty, it's pretty hard. But researching and being able to answer the following 4 questions will have you better placed to determine whether a career in sports science is the right fit for you. So question 1, what is sports science? Question 2, what universities offer this degree? And for each, do they specialise in a particular subdiscipline? And what industry contacts do they have? Industry contacts are really important when you're looking further down the line for placements, networking, mentors, and this can really help you further down the line. So choosing a university with good contacts could really help you in the long run. Question number 3, what subdisciplines would you like to specialise in? This might help you pick a university to study at. And the final question, are you okay with having to do further postgraduate studies? And if so, what options are available to you in this field? So, tip number 2, get as much hands-on experience as possible. If you speak to anyone already working in the industry, this will be the first thing that they tell you. To get employed or to go further in the industry, you need to have hands-on experience. Unfortunately, sports science degrees are highly theoretical and only have limited practical opportunities, so you have to step outside of the classroom to get the experience required to be employed in the industry. Sure, you will do 200 plus hours of practicum experience for your ESSA requirements, but 200 hours is just simply not enough to be qualified to work in the industry. The going rate at the moment to be employable in the industry is that you need at least 3 to 5 years of full-time experience. So if you don't start during your degree, you could nearly be 30 before you're even eligible to apply for one of these full-time roles. Even crazier, some placements and internship positions that you'll apply for during your undergraduate degree request a minimum of 1 to 2 years experience. So as you can see, all the signs are leading that you need to actually get that experience if you want to get the opportunities to build a career in this industry. So what can you do to get ahead of the pack on this front in terms of experience? The first tip is to start early. If you start in your first year of your undergraduate degree, you can have nearly 3 years experience by the time you graduate. So please don't leave it until your third year practicum unit to get started. You'll simply just be too far behind your competitors. So what are some tips for getting started with your practical experience in the sports science industry? Well, the first and easiest step is to get involved. So this can be done by simply contacting your local club and asking if you can join on as a sports trainer or an assistant or an intern. These clubs are always looking for help, and this is a great entry point to start developing your skills as a coach, strength and conditioning coach, or a sports scientist. These clubs will have roles available, and they're always willing to give students an opportunity. So always reach out to them first. Once you build some experience, you then might want to look at transitioning into other organisations or clubs higher up the food chain. So they might be semi-professional clubs or private organisations. But the best place to start is at the grassroots. One thing to remember in these roles is that you're new to the game. So be prepared to listen and learn more than do in your first season. Once you earn the trust and respect of your peers, then you can start to expand your duties and move into the areas that you really want to. So if it's strength and conditioning or sports science, you can really start to get into that once you've actually developed a rapport with your club. In addition to getting your hands dirty, it is also worthwhile looking at obtaining some external accreditations to just put you a step ahead of your competitors. So the two main ones that I recommend that you look at is the Sports Medicine Australia Level 1 Sports Trainer Certificate. So this is great for getting you a foot in the door at these local clubs as a sports trainer, and it's always handy to know how to tape an ankle. But as I said before, getting your foot in the door is the first step. So if you join a club as a sports trainer, you can then start to ask if you can help out with other duties. And once you've built that respect and rapport with the club, that'll be an easy transition. So that's a very good starting point for external accreditation. The second is the Level 1 ASCA course. So if you're looking to head down a strength and conditioning pathway, then this will give you the essential skills and knowledge that are required to work in that industry. And it also has a compulsory practicum component, which can help get you started on your practical experience. So you will have to do 10 hours of supervised coaching with an ASCA Level 1 qualified coach. So this will give you the opportunity to network and work with other coaches who already work in the industry. And it also might lead to paid work if you do a great job and they want to take you on board as a mentee. As you've probably already gathered from the first two tips, sports science is not the easiest industry to break into, and trying to do it all on your own is even harder. This is why my third tip is to find yourself a mentor to help and guide you along your journey. Mentors are incredibly useful in this industry as they have walked the path you are starting on and have experienced and overcome the challenges you will face in the not too distant future. So where can you find a mentor? There is no strict process to finding a mentor, but here are some of the most common methods. Approaching a senior coach or sports scientist at your local club, asking your university lecturers or tutors if they are interested or able to give you help with your journey, checking out websites such as ASCA or ESSA where they have information about mentorships and practitioners in the industry who are willing to take students on as mentees. And another way is if you meet a practitioner at an event or conference and you have a good interaction, you can ask them if they have the capacity to chat further or establish a mentor relationship with you. When reaching out to possible mentors, avoid just blind messaging or emailing someone via LinkedIn or a contact you found on the internet. My policy for these sorts of requests is that if I don't know who you are, I'm not going to respond to a blind email. So please make sure that you actually know the person that you're contacting or have had a call or a personal interaction with them to start that mentee-mentor relationship. There are also a few things to take note of when commencing a mentor-mentee relationship. It is important that the relationship has mutual benefits, so both parties are getting something out of the process and are willing to contribute. You don't want a one-sided relationship where you as the mentee are not benefiting or getting anything out of the relationship, or vice versa, the mentor is not getting anything out of mentoring you. You need to also establish ground rules on how often, so weekly, monthly, fortnightly, and how you will meet. So is it a phone call, a Skype, a face-to-face interaction? The preference would be to try to make it a face-to-face interaction. Obviously with COVID, that may not be possible. If you are able to do this face-to-face, be sure to remember your mentor's coffee order. Buying a handful of coffees adds to your good bloke/chick factor and will help you in the long run if there's a job opportunity available or an opportunity to work with your mentor. They will likely help you out with that if you've got that good bloke, good chick factor. Tip number 4, networking. The old saying, it's not what you know, but who you know, is particularly relevant in the sports science industry. The majority of sports science roles are filled in 2 ways, either via an internal appointment or promotion within the organisation, or by referral of a staff member or colleague that knows of a practitioner or coach that will be the right fit. Very rarely will someone be employed in the industry by simply applying to an advert on Seek. Sports science is a practical-based industry, so employers want to know that you can actually do what your CV says you can do. Can you actually coach? Can you actually write programs or use the technology that you say you can? Can you actually communicate with staff and players? These are all really important factors, and because you're actually working with other people, they want to know that you can practically do it and not just write it on a piece of paper that you hand through to them. In addition to this, there is also a certain level of the good bloke/chick factor that goes into these decisions. So what do I mean by this? The good bloke/chick factor is essentially the gauge of, would this person be good to work with? Sports scientists spend a lot of time together and are generally close-knit teams, so they want to know that you're a good bloke or chick and will fit in. So how do you make sure coaches and practitioners know who you are and what you can do? Well, most of this comes from your practical experience and the people you have worked with along your journey. This is also why getting hands-on experience is super important. The other portion of your networking needs to come from attending industry events and conferences, accreditation courses such as ASCA and SMA, and conversing with your peers at uni and in your work. Best case scenario, you will know and have worked for your prospective employer before as an intern or assistant, and they already know what you can do. However, if you do not directly know the coaches or practitioners at your prospective employer, that's also fine if you have a good network. The sports science community is tight-knit, and there is a good chance someone you have worked under as an intern or have met at networking events and built a relationship with will know them personally and be able to put in a good word for you. So the 5th and final tip, it's okay to be selective. As I've mentioned earlier, it can be quite difficult to find employment or an internship opportunity in the sports science industry. Therefore, it is easier to develop the mindset that you'll just jump at the first opportunity that presents itself to you, regardless of what the role actually is or consists of. However, I want to remind you that it is okay to be selective and say no. If you don't think the role is the right fit for you or won't assist you in your career development, you don't have to take it. Like any role or job, you want to ensure that you are going to be happy and enjoying what you do, but most importantly, that you're getting something out of it. This is particularly important as an intern or graduate, as you need to ensure that each role you take on adds value to your skill set. Therefore, it is important to remember that despite the competitive nature of the industry, it is okay to be selective and say no. If you don't think the role is the right fit for you or it won't assist you in your career development, you don't have to take it. It is easy to fall into the trap of jumping into the first opportunity that presents itself to you, or to take an internship at a professional club because of the badge on the shirt. But you need to think about each opportunity from the big picture point of view. How will this assist my career development? What skills will this give me? Who will I get to work with? And is there an opportunity to progress or transition into a more permanent and paid role? If an internship or employment opportunity ticks each of these boxes, then it just might be the right fit for you. Well, there you have it. That's our top 5 tips for aspiring sports scientists. I hope you've got some value out of this video, and as always, if you have any feedback or comments, please get in touch via the TRIAX socials. Be sure to keep an eye on the TRIAX channel for some more content from myself and the TRIAX team in the near future. And for those of you starting university this year, good luck with your studies, and hopefully you'll be returning to campus soon. Until next time, see you later, and thanks for tuning in.